like. But I got some ordinary gamers. He's gonna talk about it for a bit, and we just gonna tap into this shit.
It's coming since yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. 4chan has actually been totally hacked. Yesterday on April, what was it, the 14th?
How though?
There was a pretty all-out war on some of the wilder parts of the internet, and 4chan was the ultimate loser in all of this. For anybody that has no idea what's exactly going on, there is alleged source code of 4chan floating around. In fact, you're looking at what is allegedly the source code.
Does it mean like anybody who has a 4chan account pretty much got hacked too, or is just the website?
Right here, ladies and gentlemen. So you see that little Yotsuba config.php, Yotsuba being, I believe, a reference to like the four petals, the overall like logo of 4chan. Yeah, this is a lot to go through. So let's start from the very beginning, okay? About 17 hours ago on a website known as soyjack.party. So there are three actual, belligerents in this warfare, okay? Now you've got, of course, 4chan, okay, which is one of the oldest websites in the history of like, basically the modern internet. It's one of those websites where I guess anything goes. A lot of people mystify it as like, just the group of the internet cesspool, so to speak. Now, of course, 4chan has a lot of wild stuff on there too, specifically in boards like /poll/b. But if you ask me, I usually pretty much frequented,
I'm not gonna lie, I've only used 4chan like 2 times in my life. Like G shit, I've only used 4chan 2 times in my life. I really found no use of 4chan. You know what I mean?
VG for video game stuff, specifically when leaks ended up coming out, and more specifically the X board, which is known as Paranormal, which is where discussions of really, esoteric, weird, creepy.
Oh god, my shit's lagging out. What the fuck, bro? All I did was turn to the side. Dog, what the fuck? All I did was stretch it out just a little bit and this shit lagged out.
Stuff usually is discussed. Now, of course, alongside 4chan and its popularity, there's been plenty of other boards that have popped up too. Some of them far more extreme in their rules and their communities compared to 4chan. Places like 8chan, for instance. Now, of course, the other party, the place where the source code was necessarily acquired and posted, was a website that I'm sure some of you know as Kiwi Farms, okay? Now, inside all of this, the actual hacker appeared to be from soyjack.party. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what Soyjack Party is, it's the Shardy. It's a place that's more wilder than 4chan, okay? Just a quick cursory...
What is more wild than 4chan? I thought 4chan was like the limit. The fuck?
Glance of what this website is for anybody that doesn't know. It is an image board dedicated to the creation, posting, and sharing of soyjacks, okay? Now, what the fuck is a soyjack? You know those cool little, like, drawings that you see, the little doodles, the little rough faces you see everywhere? Yeah, that's a soyjack, okay? And, of course, they post soyjacks all the time. Now, of course,
The fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What the f...
The old the Shardy doesn't necessarily appreciate 4chan at all, okay? You can look at one little image over here of an imp jet going, go back to Reddit, 4cuck refugee, okay? So it's not exactly a place that's overly friendly. So about 17 hours ago, one post was made by a user over here showcasing what appeared to be the Team 4chan dashboard, okay? So again, it shows you all the threads popping up, all the tens of thousands of replies, and if you wanted to look into the left over here, you could probably see passes, which I believe are like paid for 4chan passes at this point. You also had like IP ban ranges, everything right here. Janitor applications. Now this is important. Jannies are the moderators on these boards, okay? So unfortunately for them, it seems like a lot of their information really ended up getting what appeared to be leaked. So the closer you look into it, one interesting thing happened right over here. 16 hours ago. Tonight has been a very special night for many of us at the Soyjack Party. Today, April 14, 2025, a hacker who has been in 4cuck's system for over a year. Sometimes I wonder if my neighbor just hears me scream this kind of shit and he wonders.
I can fucking relate. I can relate to that.
What goes on in that house?
I can definitely fucking relate to that, especially when I'm playing games and shit.
Soy clips. Okay, so what they did was they opened up a board called QA, which is not quality assurance. Actually, it's questions and answers, from my understanding. And QA was effectively shut down, I want to say a couple of years ago. So they brought this up, opening it. And according to the Shardy here, they exposed personal information of various 4CUC staff and leaking code from the site, which I showed you obviously in the beginning.
Whoever did this was probably mad as hell. I don't know what.
Admins have taken all servers offline. But there are unconfirmed reports that the servers have already been completely compromised and may not be up for some time. There have been a flood of refugees from 4CUC onto the Shardy, most of whom are not adjusting well to the culture. For new teens and the few old gods that remain and everything in between, tonight has been a cathartic one. And it really must have been a pretty cathartic one indeed, because, you know, inside all of this information, there was a lot of flood of just unclaimed, unverified, sources, unverified claims that I feel like are also worth addressing into this video. So, for instance, one of the things that was brought up was apparently some of the emails that were leaked, according to the Jannies, the moderators, belong to .gov accounts. Now, .gov obviously belongs to the government, and obviously this I wanted to really get into. Were there people from the government inside 4chan?
I'm pretty sure there were probably I'm pretty sure there was like a select handful of people that worked in the government that had a 4chan account. I'm pretty sure. Not all, but like I could say a handful.
Wouldn't be a shock to me, because obviously FET posting and federal agents sort of coming into something and going into organizations like this, and again like posting around, basically being undercover, is not something unknown. All right, it's something that has happened in the past, verifiably so. So obviously we were wondering how much 4chan was actually, again, centered around, people just being like Fed operators. So I wanted to look at one of these sources for this claim, and I think the source for this claim ended up coming from a board known as Incels IS, right? Where, again, they showcased exactly what 4chan had looked like. So on the day of the hack, when QA was opened, you started to see soyjack.party1, hashtag Packwatch. Okay, so again, you just start to see literally people posting Yakubs. Okay, you start to see trolls, Base Jacks, for instance. Little cuck Jack with his Nintendo Switch that the boyfriend bought. You know what I mean? It's simple shit. Okay, so of course half the boards over here would have like these admin flares. Lamau, you got hacked, and that's
Lamau, you got hacked. Wait, what?
Okay. So of course.
LMAO. I read that so completely wrong.
Half the boards over here would have like these admin flares. Lamau, you got hacked. And that's just what happened. So according to one of the users here, did you see that the mods, Jannies, had their email addresses leaked?
What?
Lots of edu.gov domains in there. No wonder I've been banned literally hundreds of times from blue boards for racism.
That's
By the
wild.
way, Jannies admit in their ban reports that they target users for not breaking the rules, for saying things that make them seethe. So again, this is apparently one of the bans right here. You will not follow you will not post the following on side of B, troll posts, and again, the reason was calling people slurs, do not list, okay? So yeah, it was something that, again, people were kind of wondering about. Inside what appeared to be some of the actual discords for 4chan, one of the actual moderators started going, obviously 4chan, there's been a hack. The site itself has been halted until we can determine the damages. It's likely that email addresses have been leaked. Seems to be.
Yeah, just at this point, GG's, just shut the site down. GG's, GG's. Everybody emails is getting leaked. Important information is getting leaked. Just GG's, bro. Just 4chan had its run, but I think now it's just time to end it.
Be so, perhaps IPs as well. You'll need to hold on to those email accounts in order for us to do password resets when the site is back up. So don't delete them or anything. Okay. So hoping the damage isn't too bad, shit's a little concerning. I used an active email when I applied because I was hammered. Now, if this is true, there's a lot to give you a tier list of how wild the internet can get. People always say like 4chan's like the darkest black hole. I would say 4chan's of today is less of a wild place as compared to some of the other image boards that.
My history growing up on 4chan, I've heard nothing but negative. Anytime anyone talked about 4chan, it was just negative. It was nothing, never positive.
popped up, right? Like 4chan is 4chan. I would say Kiwi Farms is a little bit more of like a cleaner looking website, but obviously I think they probably have a more they have a more like I would say active, more invested community. But even for a website like Kiwi Farms, for instance, right, which I've talked about when I talked about Keppels like a year and a half ago, and even a website like that will often tell its users. In fact, it's a downright rule, I believe, of not touching any of the people they talk about or gossip about on the internet. But Soy Jack Party isn't like that. Soy Jack Party is it's fucking maximum, like, no holds barred, go
He
do
doesn't
whatever
give
you
a
want
not
on the
one
internet,
shit.
okay? And pure insanity. Now, the thing that I believe on 4chan is, like, when you're building a new account there, right? Not 4chan, Kiwi Farms. When you make a new account there, I believe one of the best pieces of advice provided is do not use an identifiable email address. So anything that you have public facing, don't use that on their website.
Just use a
Because
fake
if there
fake
is a
address.
breach or something gets hacked, which obviously, everyone says we won't get hacked until they do. Yeah, you probably don't want your actual email or verifiable identity attached to a website that usually gets called the black hole, the cesspool of the internet, or one of the most evil places, right? But yeah, that's just basic fucking advice. And if the Janies here were willing to use their actual work business emails, probably isn't going to look that good when people are doing a deep search of you, down the road. But of course, over here, I think it's more important to worry about what your email address is connected to. So have you used it for LinkedIn or Facebook or GitHub or Google? Places where people do actual mainstream work from. You can set it up to use an authenticator app, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it's just personal information from their Janie applications. That is basically the biggest
Step off real quick.
nuke for the community, the big gold hijacked from them, right? So obviously I wanted to kind of verify if like this information was kind of true. So again, going back to a lot of that leaked information, which again, it's not really all that massive, but this is apparently big leaks. So what you can look into is something known as admin.php, which again is sort of like, the main, if you will. And if you open that really quickly, you can see that, yes, it includes Yotsuba configuration file. And of course, it contains all of this code that if you look through, you can start to verify, like, maybe this is 4chan. Maybe you can start to see how the site works and compare it to the source leak just to see if functions are similar. So one user, Securitron Linux, actually did end up looking through this code as well. And of course, functions here, for instance, this one reads every single ban that is available right here. This function, for instance, function get ban summary, yada, yada, yada. And of course, this 4chan website will not load. Maybe it's good if it was down for good. There are better things to do than shitpost on 4chan all day. Maybe take up a hobby. I guess. And of course, they would look through more of these actuals. So this is admintest.php and so on and so forth.
I low-key want to look up 4chan and see if this is like 4chan. See if the website's still up. Oh, damn, yep. 4chan is down. They really hacked that shit. Why am I on Yahoo? Fucking use Yahoo. He's Google like a real man. What's this shit called? Oh yeah, Fortune. Oh, it's right here. Oh, you still can go to the website. But does it work is the question. Shit, taking a while to load. Wow, 4chan is not even working. You can't even go to the actual webpage. That's fucking insane.
Again, this does contain, again, source code of
They really
one of
hacked
the
the whole
most
website.
interesting
What the
websites on
fuck?
the internet. And I can't verify if everything is completely true over here, just because, again, when a hack drops like this, and it literally, this is less than 24 hours old, a lot of information just sort of flies at you. But when it comes to a lot of the leaked information that has come out from, again, this whole story, one thing that I can't confirm are those .gov addresses. Like, for a lot of accounts that are coming over here, it's like they're leaking the Jannies' Instagrams using the emails that they found. So they were able to look for, again, their Twitter accounts, their DeviantArt accounts, the YouTube accounts, Instagram accounts, and some of them contain some pretty interesting Rule 34 of, like, furries, I guess. But a lot of it came to, again, identifying who was moderating 4chan, right? Which is, again, one of the big cream of the crop moments they wanted from actually, running this hack. Right, this was the big thing wanted from this. The other thing was obviously retribution, that QA board I talked about earlier. Obviously, the Shardy opening that up wanted it to. It was just a retribution game, right? It was like, hey, we fucking won in the long run, right? That was kind of how this online hacker war basically worked. Now, if you look around some of the actual images that have been shared of this hack, for instance, the PHP admin panel over here allowed, I guess, people to look at, again, ban requests, the banned users. But what would really have been interesting for me over here was to see, like, maybe they were going to dig out people that were paying them, right? Like in the donations tab, or like, I believe it's the, what would they call it? The 4chan pass, right? I'm wondering if that information is still basically, supposed to come out. This is a whole database of what appears to be 4chan's massive information pool, right? And again, when looking closer into the actual leaked domains, right, this would be a list of the actual, 4chan moderators, right? The Jannies. Now, the thing is, I have to block some names out. I think there's one.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot of them.
One name called Grape Ape here, right? Which, wow. And of course, it all links to what appears to be their actual email addresses to the right. And again, if I look closely at each and every single one of these emails, a lot of the domain registrars are Gmail. You got like Outlook. One person is smart enough to actually use Proton Mail. One person actually does just use their 4chan like .org domain, right? So again, this is the Jannies, the biggest like scare for this are the people that have been moderating the page, if anything, because it seems like for them, a lot of their information did actually end up coming out. Now, ultimately, you might be like, is this the death of 4chan? It's not, because if you go to 4chan right now, ladies and gentlemen, just go drop in the actual URL. So if you go to 4chan right now, it actually is a functioning.
That shit was not working. When the fuck did he post this? 49 minutes ago? Dog, this shit's not working now though. Cause I go on 4chan, that shit, nothing pops up. The fuck? Let me try it again. Yahoo. Chan. That shit non-works. Shit non-works. I'm afraid I'm gonna get a hack. I'm gonna get the fuck off this webpage.
Board still. You can go to Paranormal, drop that fat accept, and actually wait. I don't think it's active. Hold on a minute. The site's barely functioning. I'll look closer into it. Yeah, it really does look like images aren't loading over here. Yeah, this hold on. They might have
4chan is literally deteriorating in front of my eyes. I'm seeing Mudahar on the actual shit, but nothing is popping up, and I'm going to the website, and the website is just not even working. It's non-existent.
Let me actually go to what is it? Poll really politically incorrect. Oh my god, I can't access it. Wait a minute. Let me try a different browser. Firefox. Maybe it's just not working in Chromium for some reason. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, it's I think it's going through it. Boys, I think the site's going through it. Let me actually ping 4chan.org here real quick.
Nah, that's
yeah,
wild.
I think they're going through it. The site seems to be healthy. I'm getting all my responses just fine, but I really do feel like they're going through and maybe fixing up the website for now. Now, obviously, you may be wondering, but Muda, how did the Shardy hack 4chan? How did the hacker notice 4chan?
And that is what I want to know.
And get completely goat-seed on the internet? Well, there has been some analysis over here, and it really seems like the hack, which, again, this is not completely verified, was due to the fact that there was some actual code, some site function, specifically in the PHP side of things, where, again, this wasn't entirely up to date. So because they were running what appeared to be allegedly this out-of-date version of PHP for their entire website, that had a lot of vulnerabilities and exploits ripe for the taking.
So because they had like old software, and like it's kind of crazy, you have old software and you don't want to update it into new softwares, is the reason why they got hacked, by not upgrading their fucking software or their web page.
Now, if you ever have...
Oh my God.
One thing to tell you is a lot of places on the internet, a lot of websites, a lot of like organizations, as shocking as it sounds, aren't exactly great when it comes to upgrading and updating a lot of their site functionality. Sometimes it can be a little too difficult. Sometimes they may not have the people capable enough to update a website. Some may forget about it. If something works, why fix it?
That does make sense.
But obviously, if this is true, because 4chan allegedly didn't have an updated version of PHP, there's a lot of vulnerabilities and exploits that exist. And using common, platforms like Metasploit, for instance, you can exactly, figure out, throw in a version, and it will just throw every single missile it can at it, and eventually something will go through, and that probably is how the Shardy ended up getting into 4chan. And there they sat dormant, they waited around, got everything they needed, until finally the 0 hour hit. They were able to go public with a lot of these hacks, and that's where we are today. Now, will 4chan be gone forever? Are we never going to be able to access...
I don't think so. I think they're probably going to put the website back up, but it's probably going to be a minute before they get their shit back. What they need to do immediately once they get their shit back up, update your I forgot what he said, PHP or whatever.
4chan whatsoever? I don't think so. I think obviously this is going to be a big slap in the face, and obviously it's pretty easy to say that the Shardy won. But 4chan has basically been an institution for a long time. There's a lot of interesting stuff that 4chan did. For instance, if you don't remember Project Chanology, back in like 2008, 4chan took on the Church of Scientology and literally ended up winning against them. I mean, I swear to God, they have a fucking Wikipedia page that's framed like an actual online war. Parties, Anonymous and the Church of Scientology. The winner, total 4chan victory over here. So there's a lot of cool stuff that 4chan will do, especially against people that typically you would never want to go up against, just amongst a lot of bad stuff that they do and just a lot of goofy stuff that 4chan does. But it's been an internet institution for quite a long time, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think if anything, they finally got their fucking dick slapped in a little bit, and they might actually end up updating site security, which... That's one of the reasons why I think that you're getting these massive errors, because everything is taken off just to make sure, again, in a cybersecurity incident, things are patched up, plugged up, and hopefully, it's not going to happen again. But knock on wood, not really wood here, but you get the idea, right? That's kind of what's going on.
Wood.
But yeah, 4chan ended up getting hacked. A lot of what appears to be their janitorial staff ended up getting leaked out. And yeah, a lot of goofy secrets might still be coming out.
Oh my God, that's what I'm really waiting for. It's fucked up, but like I am waiting for like what got leaked and the shit that's about to unfold this week when it comes to 4chan. I'm not gonna lie, this shit's gonna be mad fucking insane. Oh my God, it's gonna be insane. But that was yeah, that was 4chan. Yeah, Mudahar. Let me get that bit of like. Love a good old Mudahar video.